evening. I am Chemay Morales-James, and I am equity coach and consultant for Waterbury Bridge to Success. I've been consulting with them closely for a while now, and they had reached out to me because in addition to my many hats that I wear, I am also an unschooler, which is I'm a home educator. Obviously, a lot of families are home with their kiddos right now due to COVID-19, and they are inundating my emails and Mickey's emails and BTS's emails with questions of what can we do to support our kids while they are home, and how do I juggle working from home while I have kiddos that are running around at the same time. So myself and a friend of mine, Mickey McKennedy. Mickey, you want to say hello?
Hello.
So Mickey is also a homeschooler here in Waterbury, Connecticut. And she also has a Facebook group, the Greater Waterbury Homeschool Inclusive. I also have a Facebook group, My Reflection Matters in Connecticut Home Education, where we build community with other homeschoolers in our city and across the state to support each other in our journey. And so we were asked to come and share some of our experiences, as we have a little bit more experience being home with the kids and supporting their learning, and also multitasking and working from home and working outside of home. And so we are really just, or BTS is hosting this as a Q&A opportunity for parents to ask all of those burning questions that they have. Mickey and I will try our very best. We don't know all of the things, but we will try to use our personal experiences to put you at ease and to support you as you are home. Given everything that is happening, there are a lot of families that are really in survival mode, where getting childcare because they still have to leave to go to work is an issue, where finding medical care for sick ones, or worrying about, how do I get supplies for my immunodeficient relatives' children when folks are in the midst of hoarding supplies and I can't find those supplies. There are a lot of other priorities that have taken precedent for a lot of our families, which is why they may not even be here with us today. So I really want to acknowledge that. So we are going to jump right into questions, because a common question I've been getting from a lot of parents is, how do I get my kids to understand that this isn't a free-for-all where they can beg for video games all day? So before I jump into answering, Mickey, do you have a response to that?
I think that the answer is, like all things, it's all in the approach. So sometimes it means barter and bargaining, that, yeah, you can have an hour of video game for every hour of X you do. Or it could be finding a way to make that video game into a positive. If they're studying a particular type of history or the pyramids, etc., let them make it up in Minecraft. Let them show you about it and tell you about it that way. There are just so many ways to peel an apple that you can get them to do the work. It's just in how you approach it. I am not necessarily thinking you need to take them away from video games all day. I think it's how you embrace it. It's
important that as a family, that together you have that conversation. And I say together because a lot of times we think that we have to go in and make up all the rules for our kids, but when we do that, most likely that we take the risk, we increase the risk of rebellion happening, right? People rebel when they feel like they're being controlled and they're being told what to do all of the time. But if you actually sit with your kids and say, let's talk about it, let's figure out what is an appropriate amount of time for us to be on the screen, whether it's television, whether it's a video game, whether it's on the iPad, and let's commit to that. And parents have to commit to it too, right? Because my kids will call me out if they say, "Mommy, you told us get off the screen, but you've been on your phone for the last half hour," right? And so you have to be willing to commit to it too. Should we just let our kids chill during this time and think about what they are interested and then move forward? Mickey, what are your thoughts?
For these first few days, I will tell you that I did tell my friends who were getting their kids home and they were panic-stricken trying to quickly do school at home. I said, take a couple days. This is a big adjustment for everybody, and this is a big adjustment for your children, and they cannot fully understand what's going on. There's a lot of stress. We pulled them out of their normal day-to-day, away from their friends, away from the structure. All of their comfort zones are kind of gone right now. So give yourself a chance to wrap your head around the fact that you guys all need to learn a new schedule, learn how to be together all of the hours of the day. If you have particularly older children, I'll speak more particularly toward older children, not that it doesn't apply to the youngers. Yes, I think you should find out what they're interested in. And I think you're going to learn a lot about your kids, things that maybe you didn't know. My son got very into throwing stars when he was younger, the idea of them, which I knew nothing about. And he spent a lot of time on YouTube, and he did math and how many times you can fold the paper and this and this and this. And it was all a fun thing, but he learned so many things. And I really would never have known that he was into that if we didn't let him kind of embrace what he's interested in. Talk to your kids and say, hey, you know, we have a lot of time to learn things. What do you want to learn? Let's figure this out. Let's find some resources and some documentaries and some books, and let's figure this out. And really embrace that your kid is going to learn all the things that they're interested in, whether you want them to or not. So you might as well enable what is good.
Yeah, I agree with Mickey. I think this is definitely a time, you know, I mentioned earlier, like, you know, in the acknowledgements that this is a time for us to slow down. I think that as parents, you have a lot on your plate. You're trying to figure out, how do I make sure I'm still getting paid, right? Do I still have a job? Making sure I still have a home, I can get food on the table. Like, those are like priorities for a lot of folks right now. So I think, you know, it's okay for you to not do school for a while and really just take the time to get to know your kids in a different way. You have more hours with your children than you did before. And so I think, and we don't know when we'll have this opportunity again. You know, like, this will end, right? All of this will end at some point, and hopefully sooner than later, right? And you have to really ask yourself, how do I want my kids to remember this time in history? KhanAcademy.com, and they are also going to include it in the resources that Mickey and I sent out. They recently had announced that they are offering free online classes. Can you think of any off the top of your head, Mickey? Well, I'm trying to remember the one that I shared today. That was free.
Free resources.
ABC Mouse is free too.
ABC Mouse is free right now. Scholastic is free right now. Brave Writer is free right now. I mean, so many, and I tried to include those all in the resource list I sent you. So many fantastic
those are there.
Opportunities out there.
Thank you all for joining. This has been it's always a little bit weird for me to be in these conversations because I am a people person and I feed off the energy of people in a space. So I am still getting used to doing this. Please be on a lookout for Waterbury Bridge to Success email from Akia. She'll be sending out a list of resources. So all of the ones that we talked about, plus way more that we haven't even mentioned, will be on that list for you to access, including if you are from Waterbury, Connecticut, there are some resources for families to access in our community. Mickey, thank you so much for taking the time out. I appreciate you.
Anytime, my pleasure.